The issue that caught my attention today was the words destiny and possibility. What does it mean when we say destiny? Destiny. Most probably, people assume it to be something predetermined, which has been ascertained already. Destiny has the word destiny and destination have same origin. Destiny is destination, the end of something. Whenever something ends, something new starts. So whatever there is there in this world has a destiny. There has a destination. There is a point where it ends, where it reaches the destination it was supposed to. Now these two sentences may not be same, may not express same meaning. A destination where someone or something is supposed to reach or meant to reach. Whenever something is supposed to be something, whenever something is supposed to do something, supposed to be somewhere, it may or may not be there. But when something is meant to be somewhere, there is no option. Is it possible that something is meant for something, but that possibility does not happen? Does it mean the very concept of destiny gets demolished in that situation? When certain destination is there, something is meant to be somewhere, and it doesn't end up there. What is that situation? Well, that is a possibility. Whatever there is that we can see has certain utility. Something is there, that is why we can recognize it. We can entertain it, so we can grasp it through our senses. If we see that everything has a mental equivalent in our memory, in our mind, whatever there is outside that we can recognize equivalent or its counterpart in our consciousness in the form of thought, memory, information. Whatever we see outside, it is in there in our mind, in our memory. So which one is real? Which one is real? Are they both the same? Are they separate? Because the things that we can see, that we can grasp with our senses, are supposed to be solid, rigid world. And what is there in our mind, we think of it as something illusory, which does not really exist, which are just figments of imagination. Now there is another aspect to this, that whatever we see in this world, whatever we can grasp, we can grasp through our senses, is graspable because we have its equivalent in our mind as thoughts, as image that allows us to recognize it, feel it. That is the software, and what is out there is hardware. Can there be hardware? Can there be any hardware which hasn't, of which there is no software? Is this even treated as a, would the machine recognize it? If the computer does not have software for some hardware, would the computer recognize it? Would the computer has any utility for the hardware? Does that hardware have any utility for the computer? I am giving an example of computer because we made computer and it follows the same rule. So now here's the point, that we cannot know more than what we already know. We cannot know something that we do not know already. We can only see what we can recognize. What we cannot recognize, we cannot see. There are things that are too familiar, that are very familiar, of which we have huge amount of information, of which we are we can recognize instantly, so it doesn't take any effort. We might see something of which our senses can grasp, our eyes can see, we can feel it through our senses, but we don't have much memory, we don't have much information in our mind. That is why we may say, I don't recognize it. But the level of recognition that was there, it cannot be increased. More connections can be made, similarities can be drawn to the things that we already know. Whenever there is something outside that we do not recognize, and we are unable to understand it, we can feel it, and we have this intuition that we are unable to grasp it in its entirety. There is something that is need to be known. There is something that can be done in order to make our mind, in order to enable our mind to recognize the thing that is there before us. So what we do, we put labels, we put words that we already have, we connect thoughts, and we give some meaning, we interpret it. How can we interpret it? With the words that we have already. We can interpret with the thoughts that we have already, perception that is there already. The perception also evolves with time, but it is evolving. We are learning words. It is expressing itself. It cannot know anything more. It can express itself. The more words it finds, the more words the self finds, the more expressive it becomes. Words have no meaning. There is nothing to know in the words. They are meaningless. The words enable us to express what we have already. We can only put labels. We can only put labels and say this has been understood. This thing has been known. But you didn't know it. What you did is you convinced yourself that you know it. You picked some words, you put some label, you borrowed some way of expression, and that too within the limits of your interpretation, your perception. We shall talk about it more. So everything that is there has utility. Everything that is there is an expression. Everything that is there outside that we can see, that our eyes can see, that our senses can grasp, senses can feel, are expressions of our being, our manifestation of our being, or our manifestations, our manifestations of our being. We are expanding. The universe, the world we live in, our interactions with the world is expansion of our being. The more things we know, the more we expand. Expand in the world, expand in the realm of thoughts, expand in the world of words. That is why thoughts are very important as far as this world is concerned. Whatever there is a manifestation of thought. If there is no thought, no memory, no recognition, there is no world. There is no knower, so there is no known. So that's it for now. Talk to you later. Bye.